going to show you what it looks like to enter a scenario within PCS Spark. I am going to be doing this from my computer just because the screen is a little bit more stable as opposed to if I was casting within the VR headset. This process is exactly the same when you wear your headset. One thing that you will notice is under my graded assignments, you'll notice for this particular scenario, it says that it opens on September 20th. This is something you may see with your assignments. The faculty may have set it up so that you cannot access it until the unit that it is due. So if you see something like that, you won't be able to start the simulation. Practice simulations you can access at any time, but graded may have a date restriction on it. So since I'm ready to begin, I'm going to click Start. And again, it's going to give me that warning since this is my graded assignment that I only have one attempt to complete the simulation. And this is going to show you just some shortcut or some things that you should know when you enter the simulation. So you can enable the microphone down here. It will tell you how you can do a physical exam. It tells you that there's some resources along the bottom here, and that when you're finished with the simulation, you need to click Stop. Now, when you enter into a simulation from the VR headset, you will not see all of these buttons at the bottom. The VR simulation is considered 3D mode, and this view that we are looking at now is 2D mode. When you're in 3D mode, if I were to look all around the room, it would be as though I were within a patient room or a hospital setting, depending on which scenario you're doing. I will show you in later videos, though, how to move from 2D mode and 3D mode when you are in the VR headset. Since we are in 2D mode on the computer, I am going to show you some of the features. First of all, with my microphone, once it's turned on, I'll be able to have a conversation with the patient, and it is a very realistic conversation. Hello, Alex. How are you today?
Right. I am Alex Adams.
My name is Kim. I'm going to be the nurse practitioner taking care of you.
Okay.
Can you tell me what brings you in to see me today?
I'm here for my routine physical.
When was the last time you saw a doctor?
Last time I saw a doctor was about a year ago, I think.
All right. So you can see Alex is answering all the questions that I have for him. And this is when you will go through your HPI. You will ask all of your review of systems questions to Alex with the microphone on, asking him questions. And you may have noticed in the right-hand corner as I was talking to him, it would show me a caption of the things I was asking and the things he was saying. Everything that you say and do within the simulation is logged on this simulation log. And I will go through this feature in a little more detail in another video. I do want to point out these other options in 2D mode. First of all, there's the physical exam button. You can switch into 2D mode if you're in the VR headset and click physical exam mode to do your exam on the patient. You can also tell him you're ready to do a physical exam and it will switch to that mode. All right, Alex, can we do your physical exam now?
Absolutely. Just go ahead. I'll change.
And you'll notice that it automatically switched him to the exam table. I'm going to go through these examination tools in another video more extensively. Patient file. If you click on this, it will give you some background information about your patient. So he's come in for his annual exam. It's got some vitals listed. It lists our learning objectives for this VR simulation. These 3 learning objectives are consistent across the program. And then this nurse practitioner scenario learning objectives tells you what our goal is for this scenario. So we want to obtain a focused and relevant history, perform a focused physical evaluation based on the chief complaint that they have, order relevant tests and diagnose and manage the condition, So this lists all of our objectives for this particular simulation. You'll notice there's an option here, subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. So this is a feature that you do not have to use, but it is available for you if you would like to make notes during your simulation. So since I'm on the computer, I can type notes. When you have the VR headset on, you'll see an option you can actually dictate notes. So this is something that you are welcome to use, but you do not have to for your simulations. Vital signs. This is a button you need to click in order for the simulation to trigger that you have checked vitals. And all the patient vital signs are here. If throughout the scenario you do any interventions, like if you applied oxygen, if you gave a particular medication, the vital signs should adjust to reflect any changes that happen when you provide a treatment. The sim log I mentioned briefly, and again, we will come back to that. The diagnose and treat tab. This is where you are able to order things. So under this order diagnostics, it gives me a breakdown. So like, let's say I wanted to do labs, I could click there and I see all the options for things I could order. I could also just type. If I know I want a CBC, I'll type. Oops. And I'll click on the test, and then it will bring up real-time results for your patient. You can also use this to order any imaging, if there are any consults that you want to make, or if there are any screening tools that you would like to use. They are under this diagnostics tab. Set diagnosis. This is a feature that we are not currently using. Once you reach the end of the simulation, you will be asked to select what your differential and your lead diagnosis is. You are welcome to click on it in here, but you do not have to. Administer treatments. This is where you can order medications, if I wanted to apply oxygen. And again, you can use these drop-down menus, or you can also search. So if I wanted to give oxygen, I can search that way and it will give me those options. Next steps. This is a screen where there are additional orders. So if you needed to put him on a particular diet, if you wanted him to follow up in 2 weeks, I can click follow up. And I can see all these different options. So whatever you would like to choose. So if I wanted him to follow up in 4 weeks, I can click that. And then any health promotion screenings. So if I needed to select skin cancer, I could do that. Any other referrals. If I want to write a prescription for him, I can select there. So this is another place that you are going to be inputting orders. So again, the order diagnostics, and then administer treatments if you're going to administer something in the office or in the hospital. And then this is where you would put any other orders that you want to put in. This team space function is not something that we are currently utilizing. This is an option for multiple people to use the scenario, but when you are doing your simulation, you do not need to worry about that button. And then the hints and tips, this just goes through all the components of a patient interview. Eliciting the chief complaint, the HPI, this goes through every piece of what you should be asking during the exam. But this should be things that you are learning or you have learned in class. But if you need a reminder, you can click on this here and this will help remind you. All right, so those are some of the main functionalities that you should know when you are first starting an exam. And then I'm going to click this button in 2D mode, and it will ask me if I want to terminate my simulation, and I'm going to click yes.